Alright, so I'm bringing you back on the farm because I've had a busy day. So as you can see, everything is 0, including potatoes. So we've only got things that we need right now for the farm and for the cows. And so there's several things I'm going to do. And the first of which is get rid of buildings I no longer need. So we are at a point now where this building is not necessary. Now it's telling me it's worth 100,000. I'm thinking I'm not going to get anything like that. Yeah, 50,000. So there you go. And then also, we don't need this floodlight to take up space. So we got half of that back. Alright. Because root crops are not our thing. So, but you know, it gives us some back. So we're up around 900,000, so we basically increased everything by 300. So I sold the sorghum, as you saw, and then I also sold the potatoes on the server directly, in-game directly. Everything else, which is wheat, barley, oats, and sunflowers, has contracts up at this point because they were substantially more lucrative indirect sell, with the sunflowers being over 1,000 per 1,000 liters and being about maybe upper 600s in game, so it was about a 30% premium. So I still probably have for certain 500,000 to $1 million in crop that is waiting to be sold, that will likely then be moved back in here. So the other thing I am doing, as you probably gathered by the fact that I had gotten rid of the root cellar, I did need a reminder again that I am not going to do potatoes. And that was transporting barely 200,000 potatoes and realizing again that the Crampy has a limit of like 36,000 liters on them because of the weight. So therefore I think it took me 6 or 7 loads to go take them, where 6 or 7 loads of other crops with my other trailer are like 480,000 liters. So they're a bear to transport, and you know, I got under $200 per 1,000 liters, so you know, they're 20 cents a liter or whatever it is. So just a lot of work for very little benefit. The other thing I did check while I was doing all the transporting for selling, there are no productions that we have available to us that use potatoes. So the only possibility would be, you know, if something got added in the future, or if we wanted to contribute to something like the Suez project, which is still going on, by the way, but we're still in phase 1. People are still working to try to collect things. We knew it would take a while, and it is doing that. So what I'm going to do, however, for this equipment is also a thing I've not done in FSN yet. I've never done this, but at least for this I'm going to do it. I don't know that I'm going to do it for my potato planter, although I probably will. And I should probably, I don't know that my rock picker is worth it, but I'm going to put this in an FSN auction. And so I will show that process once I'm doing it, because in-game here, you can see if I was to sell this, at best I'm going to get 153,000. New, this is a $600,000 piece of equipment. So you know, I can probably easily sell it for half that on auction. That's what I'm going to try to do. I'm half tempted to list it for 400. I may do that, just see what happens. So, because I don't think there's a charge to list it, it's just kind of out there. And we can do it for a maximum of 7 days. So I don't know that I'm going to leave it for that long, but I may for something like this. You know, but that's 31,000, as you can see, for the planter, and that's 129,000. So I can probably list both, but the requirement is they need to be at the main store. So I am going to get all this equipment there. Whatever I determine I'm not going to sell. And so, but yes, I'm trying to just clear out things I don't need, because they're not helpful for the server. They're not helpful for our determination of kind of what our value is and so forth. And so at this point, other than someone else using this thing, I have done very little. Well, I have not used this at all, except for harvesting those potatoes that one year. And it was difficult. It was time consuming. So the other piece, the root cellar, would store sugar beets. But once again, sugar beets require totally different equipment. You know, which self-propelled stuff is close to this. Potatoes beat it, but because I think you can get self-propelled beet harvesters for 400,000 instead of 600,000. Now we're supposed to kind of put this in the back here. I'm not quite sure. This is in the back of the main shop. I think I'm literally going to put it in the back of the main shop, just out of the way. And then, because otherwise it says when operations comes to get it, if it's not here, it's a $5,000 fine. Alright, so I've just gone ahead and sold the rock picker. I'm not going to drag it over there. I mean, I hate the thing so much I don't even want to make money off of it. So it's gone. You know, obviously other than the beginning where I verified, like, yeah, I just can't stand this thing. I got rid of it. You know, at this point with the direct seeder, the ground doesn't need to be plowed. We're not kicking up any more rocks. You know, so it's all good stuff. Now, I don't think, I'm going to have to see, I don't think I can unload this. No, I cannot. So, I'm going to lose 1,600 liters of potatoes, which costs me probably, on a good day, $250. So, it's okay, but let me get this to the shop, and then we'll go list these things, and you know, hopefully I'll make a little bit of money there too. Because hey, if I can get a, you know, 400,000 for that, and I don't know, 70 for this is probably what I'll list it as. Yeah, I think that should be good, because I'm seeing other items out there for, you know, a good portion of it. I think when I tried to buy a truck forever on auction, you know, it kept getting taken up to the price almost that you could purchase it for. You know, I think in some cases it did go over it, but people just weren't paying attention, or whatever would be my opinion, that they overbid. Because if you can get one new, why are you paying that much for one on auction? You know, I don't think it matters how many hours something has on it. We do have to report that. So, you know, but you can see, I mean, the potato planter on this thing, 75.3 hours. And I get other people used it. You know, and the potato harvester was 26 hours, but wow. Just to plant potatoes. And again, this thing doesn't fertilize, doesn't do any of that. It's just seeds. So then you have to go around and fertilize. You can see variable seed rate isn't available for potatoes. There's just all kinds of things that are against this. So I'll see you in a moment. Alright, so I had 900 liters of silage, if you remember, that didn't fit. That was over in the hayloft. Cleaning that up too, getting it over here. Alright, so here on the FSN site, we go to sell equipment. We're selling it off this server. And so we get to select things, so there we go. Now, I realized the potato planter did not have 75 hours. That was my quad track. That makes a little more sense. The potato planter has 11.1, which I was able to see when I had it showing out there. So I'm going to list this for 50,000. Go ahead and list it for 3 days. There's no additional detail. Alright. And then it looks like it needs admin approval. So there you go. You know, it has to be lined up once the vehicle is there, so forth and so on. So the other thing is, this is the Venter 4150. This one does have 26.1 hours on it. And I'm going to split the difference and list that at 350,000. But I'm going to let that one go for 7 days, because I think that might give me a shot of getting a little bit better deal. So, you know, you can kind of see how equipment is going. There aren't that many auctions, but, you know, people are bidding on them. And so I had looked, for example, at this Ropa, which is a beet harvester, and that sells new for 500, and they listed it for 300. And so that's where I was like, well, something that sells for 600, listing it for 4 might be too much. So, you know, lowered that down. But you can see, I mean, there's even harvesters not going for a lot. And so this is exactly, there you go. Well, these are mine. Never mind. I'm like, these are what we're looking at, but I think this is literally what I listed. So it said it needed admin approval, but they must be automated at this point. So, so those are mine, and I'll be able to keep an eye on them. And you know, you can see this one doesn't end for a couple days, but that will go there. But hopefully, if nothing else, we'll sell them. And again, this would be 31,000 in game. This would be 150 in game. So, you know, if I can double that, more than double that, I'd be a fool not to do that. So that is what I'm doing. So at this point, I'm just going to go walk the yard just to make sure. But I think I've kind of gotten, I mean, there's a few things that are kind of, you know, do I keep them? You know, I'm debating this roller. I don't think I'm going to roll, but again, it could happen. That one's not irritating me as much as the rock picker was that was sitting out here in the woods. You know, I'm still keeping the corn header because obviously I can handle that with my harvester. You know, and then we've got the planter to give us the alternative, the seeder. We've got our liquid tank, which obviously we're going to need for our milk. So I think we're in good shape. You know, we got rid of the lime. I think we're going to need, you know, all these other items. The only possibility might be that we don't need a liquid fert tank anymore. But now that I think about it, that's not entirely wrong either, because if I use the planter, that takes liquid for fert instead of dry, so it's got the 2 tanks You know, it's got the liquid tank up there for the FSN, so never mind. I do need all. And obviously I need surds. Surds? Awesome. Seeds and herbicide. So those things were running together in my head, obviously. So petrol is refilled. So a lot going on, but just wanted to share and make some progress, and definitely feeling good about things on the farm here. You know, and if I need to do some things here and there, now I've got some extra money. So as I've mentioned earlier, you know, this may evolve now that we're working with cows, and now I feel I've set myself up in the best place I can to just really focus on that and some base crops, and we'll be good. So I'll see you next time.